What's up, guys? It is Coasters and Things here today, back again with another episode of The Thrill Live. Today, I'm joined again with Beyond the Thrills.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to our podcast. This is the third episode. Appreciate all the support we've gotten thus far on not only YouTube, but Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you've watched or listened. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. So what do you say? Jump right into our episode today?
Real quick, episodes 1 and 2 ended up being pretty long in terms of duration, so we're going to try and condense the episodes down a little bit to maybe about 25 minutes.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I think we were close to, the 40-minute mark with the first two?
Right.
Yeah, so we're aiming more towards the 25, 30-minute mark this time around. And not only today, but going forward. So,
yeah, because episode 2 ended up being almost 38 minutes.
Yeah, and coming from someone who listens to a lot of podcasts and watches vodcasts, it's better when it's a little shorter because those that are close to an hour, sometimes I tend to lose interest after a while. So I think if we're able to pack everything in, all the info and everything we want to talk about in 25 minutes, then that's a good thing. So
yeah, and actually the average human attention span is 25 minutes.
Is it really? I would think it would be less than that now because YouTube Shorts and TikToks tend to do better than normal YouTube videos now.
Yeah, because they're short.
Yeah, because people could just swipe through and they only have, a short attention span to, not talking about you guys watching right now, but a majority of humans are like that. All right, so let's jump in. And we're kind of starting on somewhat of a sour note, I guess you could say, but
yeah.
The Orlando Freefall is set to be torn down forever because of the tragic death that took place last March. So what do you have on this topic, Jason?
So let me get into context first. So the Orlando Freefall was built in and completed in December of 2021. It's the world's tallest drop tower at 430 feet tall. That's menacingly tall. It drops you at 75 miles per hour. It was manufactured by Funtime. On March 24th, 2022, 14-year-old Tyree Simpson rode the Orlando Freefall, and on the descent down, he fell out of his seat to an instant death.
Yeah, those that are watching this, if you happen to be on the free fall when he fell, I terrible, like, so sorry. I can't even imagine what it must have been like to be there and actually witness it. Not only be on the ride with him as he, fell to his death, but even just being at Icon Park that night, watching off the ride, seeing, I don't know, you're just walking around the park and you look to your left and there's just some kid falling to his death. I can't even imagine. You said you saw the video?
Yeah, I saw the video. It's really, really scarring. I didn't watch it again.
I can't remember if I ended up watching the video or not, but I'm pretty sure someone sent it in a group chat that I'm in, but not ringing a bell. I'm pretty sure I didn't end up watching it just because I don't want to see that, and I don't like that kind of jarring, footage and stuff like that. But here's what I'd also like to say. Now, obviously, this is all terrible, what happened. Absolutely tragic, horrible. But I know a lot of people, news stations, just other content creators, really just anywhere you read, they all say that this ride was not safe. Now, I hate to be that person, but if you look at the picture of the kid on the screen, he's a bigger person. So he definitely exceeded the maximum weight. No?
He weighed It says his approximate weight was 383 pounds. That's over 100 pounds heavier than the weight limit
Yeah.
in that ride.
And so then what was the weight limit? Do you know?
285 or 287, something like that. It was in kilograms, not pounds.
Okay.
I
Well,
was
clearly,
pounds. But in case you're watching this from another nation, we're American.
yeah. So clearly he exceeded the maximum weight. So was it the ride operator's fault, do you think? Or do you think it actually had to do with the engineering behind the ride?
I feel like it was the ride operator's fault because it had over-the-shoulder restraints. The same ones that you'll find on like Gerstlauer coasters. They look just the same as like the ones that you'll find on Mystery Mine or Shell Razor, those big, bulky over-the-shoulder restraints that I absolutely hate.
I wonder if there's a picture or a video of Tyree Sampson before he fell, him actually, boarding the ride to see him going up. Like, there's no way that the shoulder, like, there's no way that the restraints came all the way down. There's no way.
No, because the over-the-shoulder restraints, there's a certain position that they lock in.
Right. So basically what we're getting at here is we feel, now everyone has their own personal opinion, but we feel that it had nothing to do with the engineering behind the ride. It was the ride operator's fault for allowing this kid to go on the ride when he clearly was too big to ride. Now, we've also both worked at amusement parks, and I can tell you there's been many times where I've had to tell guests at the park, sorry, you're too tall, or sorry, you're too big to go on this attraction. Did you as well?
Yeah, I worked at Hershey Park this past summer, for those that don't know. Sometimes when I worked like Candymonium, Candymonium has a very strict size requirement, by the way.
Yeah.
But
wait, really? That surprises me because it's of all the coasters at Hershey Park, that one's a bit of a surprise because it's just the B&M clamshells.
Yeah, although Hershey's rules, you have to get 3 clicks on the clamshell. You can't go with just 1 click.
Okay.
It will not dispatch unless there's at least 3 clicks. But,
gotcha. Okay.
If we couldn't get 3 clicks, they couldn't ride.
Yeah, and it's a horrible thing to say to someone, but it's at the end of the day, it's for everyone's safety. And if that ride operator just, I don't know, felt bad that the rest of his friend group could go on the ride and he couldn't, that's just something you have to do sometime. Basically, how I'd always word it is, it's nothing personal. It's just for your safety and the safety of the other guests on the ride.
Yeah, I know I'm comparing a drop tower to a roller coaster, so it's not the fairest comparison, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, again, we feel it was the ride operator at fault and had nothing to do with the ride's engineering and how it was made.
This was not the ride's fault, and it was not Tyree's fault. It was completely on the ride ops.
Yeah. And if one of the ride operators is watching this, just know I'm sure you've heard it from so many people. Everyone makes mistakes, but learn from this.
It was October 6th that the ride was officially announced to be taken down. And I don't think it's going to get relocated. With that incident being so well known as it is, I don't think another park would want that ride ever.
Right. It's out of respect for Tyree and his family. So I understand why they're taking it down. And I personally, if this had never happened, I wanted to ride it. You?
I did too. I drove right past it when I went to Orlando this past April, just 2 weeks after the incident happened.
Yeah, I wanted to ride it, but
so did I. It was one of the shortest lived rides ever. It lasted only 3 months.
Right. Well,
And honestly, one thing real quick. I feel really bad because I know an enthusiast that got a job working at Icon Park. And then 2 days after he started working there, the incident happened.
wow, really? Well, that's not a good way. That's not a good way to start off a new job. I assume this person doesn't work there anymore.
I don't know. I assume not.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, that's pretty much all we got on this topic. So let's move on to a more positive topic. This is really exciting, by the way. I was pretty stoked when I saw this. The early concept art was leaked on Screamscape for a potential Fast and Furious roller coaster at Universal Studios Hollywood. This will give Universal Hollywood its third coaster. So they have Flight of the Hippogriff and they also have Revenge of the Mummy.
Yeah. And supposedly the name for it is going to be called Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift, which, by the way, is such a cool name. I love that name.
I actually like that. I was hoping I didn't read that anywhere. I didn't know that was the name. Where'd you find that? Was it on Screamscape?
No, it was on a news website.
Okay. Yeah, because pretty sure I didn't see it on Screamscape, but I was a little bit worried that they were going to call it Fast and Furious Supercharged, which is the dark ride at Studios Florida. So it's cool that they came up with something original.
Yeah, and it looks like, just based off of the concept art, it looks like it'll feature a backwards spike and spinning trains.
Yeah, so here's a look at the concept arts themselves. And what do you think? Where do you think it'll rank in terms of all of the attractions at Studios Florida? Or at Studios Hollywood, pardon me.
Oh, I'm not too familiar with Hollywood's attractions. It's probably one of the parks I follow the least. I know they have the studio backlot tour that is supposedly like the reason people go to Universal Hollywood compared to Universal Orlando is the studio tour, because Orlando used to have the studio tour, but they got rid of it. Hollywood still has it.
Yeah, but that's also partially because Hollywood is still a working studio and Universal Orlando is just the theme park.
Yeah.
They have Jurassic Park River Adventure. Well, I think it's just Jurassic World now.
Jurassic World River Adventure, yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks way better than Jurassic Park River Adventure at Universal Orlando, I think.
Gotcha. I know they also recently added, well, not recently, but in the last 2 or 3 years, they added a Secret Life of Pets dark ride, which everyone says is really cool. The technology is really cool.
Yeah, and I'm probably way behind on this, but it wasn't it just a couple years ago that they added their Hogwarts section?
Yeah, not too long ago. That way after Orlando.
Because Orlando was 2010 or 11.
That sounds right. Yeah, we really should have fact-checked this. Yeah, we really should have fact-checked this. But yeah.
In terms of a manufacturer, we don't know. Although, if you were to ask me, I'd say I have two guesses as to who it would be. Either Intamin or Premier Rides.
Premier. Do you think there's a possibility it could be Vekoma, or definitely not?
I don't think it would be Vekoma. I don't think it would be Vekoma because it's supposedly going to be a launch coaster.
Yeah, well.
Wait, never mind. Vekoma does launch coasters. Formula at Energylandia. Duh.
And doesn't Let Coaster have a launch?
No. But Rock and Roller Coaster does.
Yeah, no, Let Coaster's a lift hill. That's right. Yeah, I don't know.
And it looks like it'll kind of have this like kind of like Velocicoaster style element to it, where it has the two the stall and then the overbank like right next to each other, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to Amusement Insider. I don't know if you watch his channel. If you're watching this, I'm looking forward to your No Limits creation of what this ride could be, because you're always like quick to do, at least make a speculated guess on what the layout could be. So.
Yeah. And supposedly it's going to like start at the back of the park and then work its way down to the front of the park.
Okay, that'll be very cool. Like, if you couldn't tell already, we're both not too familiar on what Universal Studios Hollywood is like because we both have not been there, and I really don't know that many people that have been there.
And little information is known about the ride at this point.
Yeah, it's just exciting that the park will be adding another roller coaster to their collection of rides because, I mean, 2 roller coasters and both of them are not, I guess you could say, thrilling. I guess you could say, could you say Mummy's thrilling? Flight of the Hippogriff is a family coaster, so.
Yeah, although, I mean, it's a clone. Both of them are clones.
Exactly, so it'll be something original. Well, at least when it opens. I wouldn't be surprised if Universal Orlando were to clone it at either Studios or Islands of Adventure in a couple years later, but that's just, just like Disney with Tron. I mean, how many Disney parks have Tron now?
2.
Yeah, right. Okay, so that's pretty much all we got on that topic. Exciting stuff. So now,
this should be a fairly quick topic to go through.
yeah, Nighthawk at Carowinds reopens for the first time this season. It's been closed all season, and who would have thought that
3 weeks left in the season that they open it.
Yeah, it was September, right? Or no, it was like the first couple days of October when it opened.
It was last Friday that it opened, 3 days ago.
Okay, so that was October. Wow.
Yeah, October 7th. Supposedly it was down for a repaint and for upgrades in the station.
Gotcha.
Now,
do you have any
it couldn't have been closed for that long because of a repaint. It does not take 6 months to repaint a coaster.
do you have any plans to go to Carowinds at all or no?
Not this year. I'm waiting to go back to Carowinds when what's it called? Aeronautica Landing opens next year. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
With the 4 new Zamperla rides, the Nebula, the Disco, the Air Ace. I can't remember what the last one is. Nighthawk, it was the first flying coaster. It was the first real flying coaster.
Right. I've been on Batwing at Six Flags America. You went on Firehawk, didn't you?
Nah, I've been on Batwing and Nighthawk.
Just Batwing and Nighthawk. Okay. Which of the two do you think's better?
Batwing, for sure.
So you're not a Nighthawk fan then?
Nighthawk's like a 3 out of 10 for smoothness. Batwing's like a 6.5 for smoothness.
Okay, and I think everyone can agree on this. Flying coasters are a lot better when they're smooth.
When they're a lot better when they're B&M.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. Now, Nighthawk I'm talking about, it originally opened as Stealth at California's Great America in 2000. Then it was moved to Carowinds in 2004, known as Borga Simulator, when it was Paramount's Carowinds.
Right. Yeah, I think Nighthawk's a lot cooler name than what did it used to be called?
Borga Simulator.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of hard to say too, especially if you want to I don't know, if you're going around the park. Yeah, let's go on Hurler. Let's go on Borga Simulator. So I don't know, but yeah, Carowinds reopened one of their roller coasters. So
honestly, I kind of have mixed emotions about that because I kind of want that thing gone and another coaster to go in that location. Nighthawk's really shaky.
Hey man, the general public, it's another ride that the guests can go on. So
yeah, the general public love Nighthawk.
Yeah, I mean, Vekoma Flying Dutchmans are cool if they're smooth.
Yeah, Batwing's smooth. Nighthawk's not.
Gotcha. All right, so like we said, that was a quick topic, so let's move on. Now,
it should be another quick topic.
Well, maybe a little longer than the last topic, but we touched on this last episode because there was a RMC Wooden Crate spotted outside of Hershey Park. Now we have a truck. Confirmed. It's happening.
Yeah. First, they announced the closure of the ride. Then we see an RMC crate. Now we see an RMC truck. What are we going to see next?
I don't know.
Track?
Yeah. it's confirmed. I mean, there's really not much else to say. I guess you're right. This is a short topic. Yeah, but I saw Hershey Park Enthusiast. I know you're friends with that kid.
Yeah, I met him a few times when I was working up there. He's a really cool dude. He's only 16 and he makes stellar videos.
Yeah, his videos are great. I saw he did a video. He said he wasn't trespassing. I don't know exactly where he was, but he was able to get up close and personal with all of the wooden supports and the truck and the crate, just everything laid outside of the construction site.
I bet he was in the employee parking lot, because the employee parking lot, that's where they have a lot of their like construction vehicles and supplies and stuff like that. It's right next to Wildcat as well.
Oh, sort of like where you drive out. I kind of know where you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, he probably wasn't trespassing then. Who knows? Or maybe he knows people just because his channel's kind of, it's starting to get up there. Maybe he was able to get connections or was able to get in there. Who knows?
Yeah. And that dude, he's almost at 10,000 subs.
Yeah. If you're watching this, dude, keep up the good work. Congrats on everything that you do.
You make great videos. He uploads like 2 or 3 times a day. My gosh.
I don't know how he does it.
He's like Canopy Coaster.
I don't watch Canopy Coaster, but I know who it is. He uploads a lot too?
Yes. Like twice a day.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know how you guys do it. But anyway, when do you think we'll see an announcement from the park?
Should be any day now. Probably within the next 2 weeks, I'd say.
Yeah, but we said that in July. It should be any day now. We said that in August. Should be any day now. So,
well, my original thought when they announced his closures, I thought they were going to announce RMC Wildcat in like either Labor Day weekend or in mid-September. Well, that clearly didn't happen.
Yeah, no. Twisted Twizzler?
No. Oh my gosh, I hate that name.
Yeah, I mean, if there is red track on site, I'll be a little worried. I think, yeah, Twisted Twizzler, it's possible. Even though we both aren't the biggest fans of that name, if there happens to be red tracks spotted on site within the next couple days, I'm not going to feel too optimistic. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And then our last topic here before we hop into our special segment, Moana Journey of Water is expected to open late 2023 to give Epcot another attraction.
I think this is good. Epcot's been receiving a lot of love recently.
Yeah.
With Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
Remy's Ratatouille.
Yep. Is that at Epcot?
Yeah, that is at Epcot. It's in the it's in Italy. Yeah, it's in Italy.
Yeah. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. Even Frozen Ever After, which I know that was a remodel of another ride, but Yeah, so, and I touched on this, I'm almost positive, back in the summer when I did an interview with Andreas, Thrills and Magic, if you follow him or watch his I've seen some of his videos.
Yeah, we touched on this in our interview. We both said that it's kind of like Disney bounces around to each park. So Hollywood Studios was the park that they really were adding additions to last with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. They kind of renovated the Muppets Courtyard with Grand Avenue, Pizza Rizzo, Baseline Tap House, and Storyland, right. And then they also updated One Man's Dream to Walt Disney Presents. Sorry, I was kind of having a brain fart there.
And they added they added Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy a few years ago.
Right. So now they're starting to, fast forward to Epcot. And then once they do a lot to Epcot, I have a feeling they'll work their way back to Animal Kingdom, because that's the park right now that they really have not added anything to, at least since Pandora.
Yeah. When was that? I think it was 2017, was Pandora.
Yeah, that sounds right. And yes, Magic Kingdom is still opening Tron, but can we even really count that? Because
we don't know.
Yeah, because that's been years in the making too.
Yeah, it's been 5 years in the making.
Yeah, so I don't even really want to count that. So yeah, Walt Disney World is putting all of their efforts into Epcot as of late. So yeah, cool that they're going to add a Moana attraction. I know that's like a popular Disney movie.
Supposedly it's going to be a water maze, whatever the heck that is.
Yeah, more info should come out soon. So very good stuff coming out of Epcot. So now our special segment, we'll try to make this short and sweet and then wrap up today's episode. Now we're going to pick 3 of our favorite hotels we'd stay at in no particular order.
Oof.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay, when I came up with this, because I don't tell him what these special segments are. Last week when we talked about the
coaster models at your home park.
Yeah, the coaster models at our home park. I didn't tell him. He had to come up with that on the fly. So here's what I'll say for my first one. Bear Creek Mountain Resort. It's up in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. It's a ski resort, but I have stayed there multiple times. Years past when I had a season pass to Dorney Park and I wanted to get 2 days in one trip, basically. Because, yes, I can do Dorney Park in a day. It's about an hour and a half, an hour, 45 minutes for me. But there was times when I was younger and had a Dorney pass where we kind of wanted to make a vacation out of it. So we'd go and stay there, and they have an outdoor pool, a lot of restaurants on site. It's only about 10 to 15 minutes from Dorney. So we would go to the park during the day, eat at the hotel at night, and yeah, really a lot of good memories there. They have, like I said, it's a ski resort, so it's completely dead in the summer. So we'd have the pool to ourselves. And then we never took the shuttle, but they even had a shuttle to and from Dorney if we wanted to take it, which was nice. But we never ended up taking it. There was also like a ropes course, mountain biking in the woods, a lot of different like activities you could do around the resort. So Bear Creek Mountain as my first one, which is in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania.
Okay. For my first one, I'm going to be rather basic. I'm going to say La Quinta.
Really? Which La Quinta?
All of them. They're all so nice.
Okay. I only stayed at one, and it was across the street from King's Dominion, and it was average. So, yeah, I guess you could say my experience with La Quinta's actually not true. I stayed at another La Quinta on the way home from Cedar Point in 2021. We were searching for a hotel because we were driving home. It was near the Hershey area, even though we only had like another 2.5 hours to drive. It was like almost 1 a.m, and my mom and I were just exhausted, and we just needed a place to crash. That La Quinta was probably a little nicer than the one at King's Dominion. My family has Hilton rewards, so we normally stay at Hilton's. So
my family has Choice Hotels rewards.
Okay, yeah, I've stayed at a couple comfort suites. They're nice.
And Comfort Inns, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't really have too much of an experience with La Quinta. So, okay. I'll probably go my next one, Disney's Art of Animation at the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. The theming is just unbelievable. They have the big blue pool with the speakers underwater. I stayed in the Cars section when I stayed there, and the Cars pool is really cool because all the cabanas are cones, and it's the Cozy Cone Motel. I'm also a big fan of Cars. I've loved Cars since I was little. So, yeah, I'd probably go Art of Animation as my second one. That's a really cool resort. I really like staying there. You feel like you're in the movie. It's awesome.
For my second one, I'd probably say Wilderness at the Smokies. That's a really fun. It's a water park resort. Okay.
Okay.
Think like Great Wolf Lodge, kind of like that.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I've stayed at the Great Escape Lodge, Six Flags Great Escape Lodge, up in the Adirondacks. Like, what is it? Queensbury, New York. So it's probably similar to that.
Yeah, and they have an indoor water park and 2 outdoor water parks. And then right across the street from it is Soaky Mountain Water Park, which if you stay at Wilderness, you get free admission to Soaky Mountain.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so you kind of got like the best of both worlds. Everything's right there.
I've only stayed there once, but it was awesome.
Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe when I do go to Tennessee, I'll have to look into that because I love indoor water parks. My third one, I'm not going to go the Great Escape Lodge. I enjoyed the Great Escape Lodge, but I don't think it's top 3 worthy. And I don't want to put any of the Hiltons that I've stayed at in this. They're all nice, but I'm trying to go like my top 3. I might go Hotel Breakers actually at Cedar Point.
Ah, you stole what I was gonna say.
I might go Hotel Breakers. If
I
not
would-
that, I'll go Hershey Lodge.
Okay. I was just about to tell you don't say Hotel Breakers because I'm going to say Hotel Breakers.
Yeah, the only thing is, my first time I went to Cedar Point was 2021, last August. Well, no, two summers ago now. Wow, we're almost in 2023. Time flies. I stayed at a Hilton that time around. Then my whole family went this past summer. It was in June, and we stayed at Breakers. Very nice. However, Cedar Point has a very disgusting bug problem. If I can look past that, I thought the resort was really nice. But I just remember being in the hot tub at night with my dad. We had to like call the lifeguard over from like the kiddie area to get like one of those nets because all these bugs were surrounding us. It was kind of gross. But besides all that, because that's out of Cedar Point's control. Like they were constantly hosing down all the bugs. Like clearly there was a problem in that area. There was nothing they could do about it. But I don't remember the resort having that bug problem in 2021. So I feel like the bugs tend to go, they're there more earlier in the summer and they tend to go away in August. So I'd probably go Breakers, even though I do love Hershey Lodge because Hershey Waterworks is awesome. You went to Hershey Lodge, right?
Yeah, I didn't stay there, but I went there, yeah.
Yeah, that place is awesome. I've stayed there multiple times. So yeah, I'd go Bear Creek Mountain by Dorney, Art of Animation at Walt Disney World, and Hotel Breakers.
Okay. For me, this isn't connected to a theme park at all. When you go to this hotel, it's its own adventure, essentially. But I would probably say the Gaylord Opryland Resort in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay. You stayed there?
And I've also stayed at Gaylord National in Maryland, I think it is. There's like
yeah. I think we talked about this before. I stayed there as well with the ice.
Yeah, there's like 4 of those Gaylord hotels. There's Opryland, National,
Palms, I think, in Orlando. Yeah.
and Texan in somewhere in Texas. I can't remember.
Yeah, when I went, it was the DreamWorks. I must have been still in elementary school, I think. But I remember going there. It's like right on National Harbor. It's really nice, the one in Maryland.
Yeah, the one in Tennessee in Nashville is the original. And it's got a boat ride in it. And they just opened a couple years ago, what's it called? Soundworks or whatever it's called. Their water park, their new water park that they just opened in connection with it a couple years ago.
That's awesome. There's like so much to do in Tennessee outside of Dollywood. It's crazy. I know like nothing about it.
Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, and Gatlinburg, that area has a lot to do. And then Nashville has a lot to do.
Awesome. Where do you recommend I were to stay when I go to Dollywood? The Dreammore, or should I stay at that water park resort you were talking about?
Depends what you want. If you want closer to Dollywood, Dreammore. If you want the water park, Wilderness. If you
does Wilderness have like a lot of little kids running around though? Is it kind of like that?
I don't know. They have 2 outdoor water parks and an indoor water park, and then you get free admission to Soaky Mountain right across the street. If you stay at Wilderness, I mean.
Right. So there's perks to both then. Okay, very cool. So yeah, that was our special segment. So yeah. Anything else?
We went way over our time again.
Did we really?
Yeah. We're at 35 minutes now.
I'm typing something in here because I forgot to add this. Which do you think was our most interesting topic that we touched on today? I might go. I might go either the Universal coaster at Hollywood or our special segment.
I don't want to say it.
Oh, you think the free fall?
Yeah, just because it's so significant.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I try not to think about it, but I felt like we had to at least touch on it because it's in the news right now, and that's what this podcast is all about, touching on whatever is trending in the theme park industry. So yeah, that's pretty much all we got. I'll let you wrap up here, Jason.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to both of our channels. Stay tuned for next week's episode. And this is Coasters and Things and
Beyond the Thrills.
signing out.